Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. We're going to work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'm going to give you my financial opinions. And if you guys need any help with anything, check out finding-value.com. We've got a question and answer coming up 7 a.m. on Saturday, Mountain Standard Time. If you guys are interested and you're part of our community, we still have that 50% discount coupon code for the monthly membership called September if you're interested. So let's dive in here. Let's look at the dollar first. Dollar is ripping to the upside along with yields. So we have a rising wedge and it's broken to the upside. That could be ultra bullish for the dollar. Perhaps yields have further to run to the upside. When we look at yields, the 2-year is still very resilient above that support level. So we've broken out. We're doing these retests on it. And we could potentially go higher here. So let's watch it. Let's see if it actually takes off. The 10-year is looking quite strong. It looks like it's already broken to the upside and it's going. So that looks really strong. And then the 30-year also looks quite strong. So we have again today the long end of the curve going up more than the short end of the curve, the bear steepener. Inflation is heading towards the long end of the curve. And right now, I mean, it looks like that can continue. It looks like that can continue. And generally speaking, higher interest rates, higher oil price or energy prices generally go up with interest rates. That's the general trend. So we've got interest rates going up. We've got the dollar going up. That's going to have an impact on the pricing of a lot of different assets. TYX TNX ratio, it's just going sideways for the most part this past week. If I were to do this on a weekly candlestick basis, you can see it's just sideways here. So the curve isn't really moving in either direction. It's just moving sideways over the past few days. Bond prices lower today, about 0.5%. So yields higher, prices lower, and this is collapsing. I'd like to see this get some footing at some point. Maybe it's trying to do that here, but it seems like every time it tries to regain its footing, it sells off. So yields higher, bond prices lower. Looking at gold, it does not like yields and dollar moving up like that. So we've got a move to the downside here in gold, and maybe it pulls back even further. This, I think, is from yields and the dollar moving on up. That's what I think it's from. But I still think gold and I still think silver are going to be an incredible spot to be when those rates reverse. Question is, when are those rates going to reverse? Don't know. Don't know. They could continue to move to the upside for a while. Silver also selling off a little bit. That's on support. You can see we got bought back up towards the end of the day. So momentum's coming back up a little bit, but again, I wouldn't put anything on that yet. Let's see where we go with yields. And then platinum also down a little bit, but still within support and squeezing in this pattern that we've got. XAU to gold and silver mining companies definitely getting hit and sold today. It looks like the rotation of money was going towards energy stocks, in particular nat gas and oil. Looking at the CRB index, and we have broken to the downside here, and that is important because if yields continue to go up, this could continue to head lower in the short term. We have not broken that line of happiness for gold and silver mining companies yet. CRB index, obviously a large oil component, rocketing higher here. So we could see a move higher from this point forward. So this is your return move after kind of a breakout of this little pattern there. And maybe we've got a lot more upside left in us. CRB to S&P 500 moving on up. And I still think that looks good to continue to the upside. Commodities to outperform the S&P 500. GDX selling off quite a bit, GDXJ selling off, and SILJ selling off. Um, and that could continue until we see a change in the interest rates. And that's my opinion. I know that gold and silver can go up with interest rates going up like the 1970s. Uh, but right now, that correlation with the last 40 years is still remaining where when interest rates go up and the dollar goes up, the pricing of metals go down. So that's going on there. Crude oil just ripping it. Last night I said, hey, we could be breaking out here of this little pattern, and well, that's what we did. Is we broke out of this pattern here. Oh, there's the pattern that I was talking about. Looks like I go back a little bit. There's that pattern I was talking about. Breakout, another pattern, breakout, big breakout there for crude oil in the short term. And we'll see if that momentum can continue, guys. It's a pretty big day today. TTF gas was slightly lower, but I think we've broken to the upside here. We've got support underneath us now. So that looks really good. We've got support underneath us if it wants to bounce. So TTF gas, I think we're going to head higher. We basically are putting in this kind of cut bottom that will eventually move on up. We've got natural gas in America, very cheap, one of the cheapest assets here. It's basing out, and I think we're going to try to make a run at it perhaps anytime now. We've got XOP, yeah, you know me, right at that neckline. So we came on up, we're tapping our head again on that neckline of the inverted shoulder, head, shoulder. We're right there trying to break out. I do think we'll eventually break it. What we did is we came up here, hit our head, we came back and looped back again, and now we're trying to break out again. We're going to break down the sellers at this neckline, and eventually I think we will resume higher or upwards. OIH also looking pretty strong today, up 3.12%. There's your bullish engulfing there. That was signaling a move to the upside. We're getting that move to the upside. And we'll see if we can break out of this resistance level where we really start to take off. I think if we break out of this channel here, we could see a big move to the upside for energy service companies. All you lucky members, and for the website, you know who you are. This will be good for us. It'll be very good for us. Sprout Physical Uranium Trust up 2.24% today, surprisingly. Maybe we're doing some sort of consolidation here or something like that, and we're ready to break. But that's looking quite good. There's your kind of consolidation here as we're going, and you can kind of look at it like this. And it's falling in nature. So generally, if they're pointing slightly to the downside, if they're pointing this way instead of pointing up and left to right, it's pointing left to right in a downward fashion. That's generally a bullish trend where we could break to the upside when we break that pattern. URA also having that falling kind of pattern there. It looks good. This is kind of like that double bloody nose is what I like to call it. If we zoom in on the short term here, basically you can see it's kind of basically like a flag pattern that we've got going on. So it still looks good. Everything is still aligned. Nothing bad with uranium at the moment, but we're just getting a little bit of a pullback here. URNM's got the same thing. It looks excellent for a continued move higher whenever the buyers want to push it. And I'm not saying it has to happen immediately, but usually what you see is you'll see like these patterns here, right? As long as they're kind of pointed, slanted to the left, we're okay. We're okay. So we'll just continue to keep stair-stepping up. And really what that is from these like little steps that I call it. And we'll continue to go higher. So it's not much selling pressure, lots of buying pressure that's continuing in this sector. URNJ's got the same pattern. It's the little stair steps that we're doing there. You like that, don't you guys? Stair step pattern. Tan's still $48. That's where we're going. We'll see what happens when we get there. COPX, a little bit of selling pressure, but again, we're still within the channel that we've got. Let me extend this bad boy channel there. We're still in the channel. We had a little bit of a breakdown of this guy to the downside, but we're doing okay. We're doing okay. Lithium right on support, and rare earth metals also basically on support. Depending on how you draw that, I could draw it down a little bit more, but it's roughly on support. For those, REMX could I don't that works very well with gold and silver, and gold and silver and REMX are not working at the moment. Now with these yields spiking like they are, S&P 500, even though we had yields and dollar spike, it's holding together at this time. Now, again, I'm not by any means bullish on this. Momentum downside, bearish engulfing, bearish engulfing. Looks like we are going to head lower. So that's what I see there. NASDAQ, again, it's the same setup as the S&P. It looks like the momentum's going to the downside, and we have to see some sort of bottoming, I don't know, pattern or bottoming candlestick or something for me to get any sort of bullish on it. But it still looks like it could potentially go lower. Emerging markets, strong dollar, strong yields. It's holding in there. It's holding in there for a day like we had today. XHB is also holding in there, and we'll see if this can hold and turn, or if this is going to be more of a continuation to the downside selling. Again, watch yields. Yields are driving a lot of this. MOO, it doesn't look horrible. I mean, this is, too bad it wasn't an update, but it is down, and it could start to slow down. But again, it's too early. I'm not going to put anything on it. Let's wait for some more candlesticks to come in, more trading days. Copper, this looks to me like it's falsely breaking to the downside, that it wants to go up. Usually when you get breakouts, if you've got a lot of sellers, you're going to see big selling pressure. Boom, like you get hit in the face with big selling pressure. And then if it really wants to go, you're going to see, big selling candlesticks like that. This doesn't exhibit that. It doesn't exhibit it one iota. It's just like leaking, like it's just following the overall market. Now, you look at the overall market, this one's got some strength to it, guys. There's some big selling pressure through here. So I think that the S&P and the NASDAQ look a little bit weaker. Copper is still kind of holding in there. It doesn't look too bad. Iron ore, I still think this is going to go higher. The chart looks fantastic to move on up with time. Nickel down 1.5%. Again, I'm not jumping in front of this. This could go lower. There's no green army, nothing showing up in the candlesticks. It still looks like it's in a downtrend fashion. Aluminum looks good. We've broken this little pattern to the upside, and it just looks like it's squeezing up for a potential move to the upside. So aluminum looks really good, and maybe even some of those aluminum stocks might not look that bad at this moment because we are really low here, guys. Like aluminum, we're pretty low. Back in 2021, we're almost back there, so I don't think it looks that bad. Baltic Dry Index, strong like bull. I think this could go higher. Same with iron ore, and aluminum could too. Newcastle coal down a little bit, but I still think this looks like it could go higher with nat gas. Coal doesn't look too bad. Bitcoin's holding, this is holding together quite well. Same with Ethereum for how interest rates and the dollar are doing. It seems like the markets are trying to anticipate a Fed easing or something like that. Like the Fed is going to come out and say they're going to do QE, they're going to control the bond market. I don't know, something like that. Who knows? But they're not really falling. It's not like just falling. Like I take this pencil or pen and it just drops, right? That's generally where you see lots of selling pressure, not much buying pressure. If the markets were really worried and they wanted to crash, it seems like they would crash under these conditions, but they're not. They're kind of holding in there. So do the markets know something that we don't? And why are people accumulating it in the face of what looks to be like out of control interest rates going to the upside? So maybe they know something. Maybe they're accumulating before a potential news or something release with QE or some sort of, I don't know what, coming out. But that's kind of what it seems like. Oil's been ripping it. That looks really good. Uranium still looks really good. And a lot of commodity sectors still look very good. They're not being sold with any sort of vigor or force. All right, guys, that's what I've got for today. Don't forget to click the thumb up button. Help me out with the thumb up button. Put comments in the section below. Help me out a little bit. And thanks for listening. This is Finding Value.